it's time to welcome our guest, Tara Woods-Turner, to Paint Yourself into the Picture. Tara, welcome. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you, Reba. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. So you have such an interesting background, and actually, before you, when you first came into the green room for the show, you mentioned, "I'm just going to run and make myself a cup of tea." Yeah. So right there, you made me so happy because I decided that I want to treat these sessions like I'm having tea with a friend. So I'm going to pour myself some, and first I'm going to offer you because I've got to mind my manners with you.
Oh, absolutely.
So here you go, and here's a little in my cup.
Oh, it sounds wonderful, actually. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for being my guest on the show. It really is an honor and a privilege. So you've written a lot of books, some interesting books. You've founded some. Tell me a little bit about yourself and what brought you to the show today.
As you mentioned, I'm an etiquette coach and also an author and a publisher. And everything is sort of tied together because my field of expertise is in etiquette. Mm-hmm. Basically just, a fancy way of saying how we choose to treat one another in social situations. Mm. And it's quite fascinating how one facet of just common respect can piggyback into so many other areas of our lives. Mm. And, a rising tide lifts all boats. And I find that approach has made branching out into other areas like writing and publishing just quite seamless. So I developed a line of etiquette curricula for schools, churches, and nonprofit organizations.
Wow.
Right. And it's been such a wonderful experience. I sort of fell into it. But it really does seem like an organic extension of what I do every day. And I really love it. I'm fortunate to be able to do this.
That's wonderful. And a couple of things come to mind is, one, I love that, you're talking about common decency through etiquette. And I always think it's such a blessing to have this vehicle through which you can bring so much to people. I used to teach ballroom dance.
Oh, fascinating.
Yeah, and that has the same qualities. It's not just about dancing or rhythm or music, though it contains that. But so much of it also is how we treat each other, how we ask each other onto the dance floor, how we escort each other off the dance floor. And those are not just, empty forms. Those are ways that we convey our caring for one another.
Absolutely.
And make each other feel safe. So I really understand how through etiquette, you're teaching a lot more than people might think when you say the word etiquette, where, usually people think, where do you put the knives and the spoons and all that kind of stuff?
Yes.
But it goes so much further than that.
So much further. And I often find myself addressing lots of misconceptions about what etiquette is and does it have a place in modern society? And a resounding yes. And one of my favorite quotes is actually by Emily Post. Mm-hmm. And she said, we could care less what fork you use. And a lot of people are surprised, like, well, surely that's what it's all about. Well, it's not. It's just, it's sort of an interlinked, it's a chain. And if etiquette or good manners, if it doesn't protect the least among us, then it's no good. Etiquette is for, well, obviously it's for, it establishes a certain sense of decorum. It establishes certain social protocols, but it's designed to make people comfortable, to put people in the best light so they can shine. And you're getting it right when you have that feeling of satisfaction with the results, not necessarily the process of putting others at ease.
That's a fantastic description of it, and it really resonates with me because I've come to the conclusion, some of the most powerful ideas are the simplest ones. Mm-hmm. And I've come to the conclusion that kindness is, like, just that word alone, kindness is the big aha. It is the spiritual path. That's all it is, because there's two types of people. I think there's the people who want to dominate others. So let me put it another way, that if there's ever a situation with a stronger person and a weaker person, or someone who can help and someone who needs help, there's a choice for the stronger person to either dominate and suppress that weaker person, or to be kind and uplift that person.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Oh I'm so glad you said that's very validating that you put it that way. Again, because the way we treat one another, it's actually geared towards the protection of the weakest among us.
Yes.
For example, parents. Why do parents do the things they do? Why do they work so hard? Why do they? It's to protect and raise their children. And it's the same for our it's supposed to be the same for our interpersonal or our social relationships.
Yes.
For example, our best table manners are not necessarily for others at the table who know how to use them. It's for the person at the table who may not know the best way to dine with others.
Wow.
When you can help and sort of buffer those rough spots, in our lives and in our relationships, that really is good manners in a nutshell. And like you said, it's just being kind. It's just being kind.
It's fantastic. It's beautiful. And I really can see how you can do a lot of good for children through it, so that when they're thinking about etiquette, they're not thinking about their own fear of being ostracized or laughed at. They're thinking about, how do I help the next person become included, become part of this table, like we're eating at a table, and how do I help them feel part of, instead of worrying about how do I feel worried about how I'm showing up.
Exactly. And when you understand the true essence of it, there's no limit. There's no limit, because it applies to literally everything and everyone. And I've actually found it difficult to kind of pull back and decide where I want to focus, because I can think of no areas, in society that could not use a little more kindness and a little more grace. But I'm especially dedicated to young people, to youth.
Yeah.
They've got a lot on their plates.
That is awesome. And I think there's such a need, not just for etiquette, but there's just such a need for people to turn their attention and their focus on young people and to include them. I feel that very strongly, and I really applaud you for that. So we have just, these sessions are pretty short, and I really could enjoy chatting with you. We were having a wonderful conversation before the tape started rolling. Fashion term. What tape? Rolling? What does that mean? But, I'm here to help you if I can. And I want to know, is there any issue or challenge or questions that you might have that maybe I could help you with?
Yes, thank you. I do have a few things that seem to be impediments. I can't quite get past them. I feel like no matter what I achieve or what I accomplish, obviously, you want to keep improving and go to the next level. But in a lot of ways, I feel like I'm never doing enough. I'm never I'm not working hard enough. And I think a lot of it, I really think I'm overcompensating because of my physical disabilities. As you know, I'm legally blind, and it's something that happened to me rather late in my adult life, and it's taken a lot of adjustment. And when I feel like, okay, I've got this, I can do this, I can work with this, it's a part of the rest of my life. Then there are days where I just feel really insecure, and what's the word? I feel less than, like, well, how can I be everything I'm supposed to be if this happened and it seems to be holding me back? And I really think, I'm pretty sure almost all of it is, psychological, because there are people with disabilities who are doing amazing things. And so I don't know. Sometimes I can't quite seem to get past that.
Right. I understand. You know it's possible in theory, and you get it. And just how do you make it work for you?
Yes.
And I totally understand that, because I think that's where like a lot of us are, where we're like, no, I get it that we're, you know, we have to accept ourselves. And I get, like, you get it all like on paper.
Mm-hmm.
But getting it in your gut is a whole different thing. You know, I think I just stuck something on my wall this morning, and I think I put it there for you. So I'm going to read it. So it's from the New York Times Modern Love section, and I'm really sorry, but I don't have the person who wrote it. I apologize, but I'll put it on our credits because I need to give credit.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll just paraphrase so I don't run into any copyright issues. This person, she learned about kintsugi, which is a Japanese art of using powdered precious metals to repair broken pottery. Mm. It's based on the belief that breakage is part of an object's life, and that when mended with gold, platinum, or in any case, the tender love of a beloved, tender love, let's just say, that was more to do with her essay, unsightly cracks are transformed into something uniquely sublime.
Wow. Oh God, here we go. Okay. That's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
It is. Sorry, I'm gonna need a lot more tea. Sorry.
Here's some tea. Here we go. That's for you, my dear.
Thank you. Chamomile.
So there it is.
It seems easy, and it seems doable until I don't know, until I'm in the when I'm in the moment, like when I'm speaking or writing or doing an interview, I have the sense that, okay, yes, this is all coming together, like all the shards of the broken pottery are finally being sort of fused together, and it feels really good and really empowering. But then in those quiet moments when I know I need to be working on my book tour or setting up book signings, then I kind of retreat back into myself, like, well, because that's more of an in-person, face-to-face event. Right. And I'm always torn between, okay, it'll be great, you know, this person has shown an interest in my book, but when I show up and I need to be, you know, led to the signing table, then they're going to say, oh, okay, you know, what's wrong with her? She's blind, or, oh my God, I didn't know she was blind. And then I feel like it's no longer about what I have to offer. Then it just becomes about, you know, my disability. And I think that's what I struggle with, is I don't want it to define who I am. I mean, I've spent my whole life becoming, you know, who I am at this moment. And it seems really unfair that a recent disability could completely hijack the picture, completely hijack who I am. Right. So I think sometimes I miss opportunities that I should be taking advantage of, because I don't want to be substituted for my blindness. I just want to be me, and sometimes I'm not sure how to be me anymore.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, you know, yeah, for sure. I mean, just the fact that it's recent and you're dealing with it so gracefully. I mean, really, kudos to you.
Thank you.
You know, you're doing. I know, of course, you see that you've got further to go, and we all do, but you have to stop and smell the roses too, in terms of loving what you've accomplished so far. You know, you really present yourself so incredibly beautifully. You know, I don't want to just get into flattering you, though I could.
No, go ahead. We have to.
Coming. Well, you are. Yes, you're a beautiful person, and you promise so much, and you have so much to offer. And you know, when we're chatting here, I actually forgot that you wrote in your when you applied to be on the show, I forgot that you wrote that you're legally blind.
Oh,
I didn't.
that's fun.
It's really, yeah. I mean that just is, FYI. But that doesn't take away from the struggle that you have, which you'll keep having, because, we have different parts of us. So you've got this very bright, bold, confident part, and that part is really fulfilled when you're out there, like doing it in front of people, talking, like that just lights you up.
Mm-hmm.
So that part is there, no doubt. And that part is the part of you that was excited as a little girl. When you were a little girl and you were like, it's going to be great. Life is going to be fantastic. And these wonderful things are going to happen. That's you. And then there's other parts of you and me. You're not alone in this, not by any means. And it's you and me, and it's all our viewers, I want to add. So, thank you for opening this up, because you're not just opening it up for yourself, you're opening it up on behalf of the viewers who have the same feelings. They might not be legally blind.
Right.
They have their handicap. Yeah.
That's interesting.
So you're doing it right now, actually, when we're talking on my show, which is a coaching show expressly for the purpose of healing these things. Mm-hmm. But you're also doing it when you do your work on etiquette, because you're such a model in terms of someone who has gone past an impediment. Mm-hmm. And we all have them. We do. We all have them. I mean, think about Stevie Wonder. Do you think of him? Is he a blind man? Is he a blind musician? Is he a musician that happens to be blind?
Right.
Or is he a musician?
He's an amazing musician and part of the soundtrack of my youth, who happens to be blind.
Okay.
Right. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, that's good. You got me there.
So yeah, think about Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
Wears a necklace that reminds you of him, or let him be like a talisman for you. Because if you can do it, you can do it.
Right. Oh, I like that. That's good.
Even reach out to him. I'd suggest to reach out to him and see if he would be so kind as to give you some words of encouragement.
I will. One thing, I'm not as shy, thank goodness. So yeah, great. I will. Okay. Thank you, Reba.
You're welcome. Now, the other things that I had heard two other things. Mm-hmm. Two other people that live inside you. We all have committees. So you've got this big, bold, wonderful person that's all on fire, and it's all lit up and bright and shining, and that's the little girl, and that's who you are when you're doing it. You don't have time to worry about it. Uh-huh. Right? So that's one. Mm-hmm. Then I heard there's this other you, and each of these are going to take some time to unpack. So we won't be able to do it all here, but the other you was a pretty strict taskmaster.
Yes. It's true. I'm very type A. I am. It's true.
But it's not working out that well all the time.
Right.
Because sometimes it's great. It got you to do stuff. But while you were talking about I should this and I should that, you were also talking about wanting to really retreat. So there's a part of you that's not really responding well to that approach.
Right, that's true. That's interesting. It's true. I think part of it is, I feel like if I'm not driving myself, that I'm letting my past down, and I'm letting my future down, and all of the amazing people, like my family and my friends, who have put so much into me. I feel like it's not fair to slow down. I feel like I have to sort of actualize all of my blessings and my gifts and my potentials.
Yes.
Because it's before you know it, it's all over, and it's like, what did I leave behind? What did I do with what I was given? So I push myself. Yeah. and I definitely see where it's not always healthy, but I think it's sort of that feeling of guilt if I don't make the most out of what I have or what I can do.
Right.
Sort of.
But is guilt the best motivation?
No, not traditionally. No, it doesn't bear the best fruit. It doesn't.
Yeah, so I'm with you 100% on, leaving a legacy and fulfilling yourself to the utmost and fulfilling your promise. I'm with you on that. But I don't think that the taskmaster has to always be the leader.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying throw it out, because like I said, it can have its uses. Like, you've got something due tomorrow. I'm sure you're the kind of person that will like stay up all night and get it done. And, you're producing,
Yeah.
which is important. I agree. But who is that taskmaster's voice inside your head? Does it have like a personality? Like, is it the voice of your father or mother?
That's I would say, in one sense, okay, this is kind of complicated. It is my mother, but it isn't. It's myself saying that I owe it to my mother, if that makes any sense. Right. So it's nothing that she ever, imposed on me. And it's funny, my mother was, she was a disciplinarian. My mother was very sophisticated. She was very much, not a perfectionist. She was just well-rounded and sort of like the whole package. And she had expectations of us, growing up. However, the sort of the paradox is she was fine with the person that we chose to be. My mother never put those sort of expectations on us. Now she raised us a certain way, but then once we were adults, she was happy for us to just be our best selves. So she never put direct pressure on us in that sense. But I think so much pressure that I put on myself comes from wanting to do her legacy, the right amount of respect. I put pressure on myself to make her happy and to make her proud of me, even when she's completely fine with whatever I'm doing. And I lost mom last June, but I can't turn off that habit, if that makes sense. I'm still doing it.
Well, maybe for a minute, speak in your mother's words and tell yourself what your mother would say from heaven. If she could tell you to relax a little because what you're doing isn't helping, what would your mother tell you? That it's okay to be you. Just be you. And get what you need. If you need to curl up under the covers one day, it's okay. You can have that soft time.
She would. I think she would tell me, like you said, that it's okay, that where she is now, she can see things so much more clearly, and she would say, be the best you, but it's okay. You're enough. Not necessarily what you do, but you are enough. I think that's.
What else would she tell you?
She would tell me she was proud of me. She would. And she would tell me that if I didn't do anything else, if I didn't do anything, that she would be proud. And she would probably tell me that just, laugh, smile, pray, hug, eat, love. Just that it's okay.
Yeah, you're enough. You are your legacy. You are your biggest creation. Your life is a masterpiece. it's not just what you do. I think she would see that from heaven. Like we are so conditioned to run after this thing called success and all that it means in terms of, products and accomplishments. And I think when we get to heaven, we'll realize, what was I doing all that for?
Mm-hmm. I believe that.
Especially if it makes us unhappy. I mean, when we're happy doing it, then it's wonderful. But when it's making us feel guilty and I should have done better and I could have done more and why didn't I do, we're basically beating up on ourselves.
Right. And I think that it's harmful, but I think it's doubly harmful because I do love what I do so much. So why isn't that enough? I'm fortunate I get to, a lot of people are in a 9-to-5 that, they don't find to be fulfilling and I love what I do. And there are times I know that should be enough, that I don't have to keep looking to the next level and the next level. I think it's going to take some practice.
I know a lot of people like you and like me, we're creating our own lifestyles, we're creating our own businesses and our own enterprises, and we're really leaders in a new way. And we were talking, just so the audience becomes part of this, we were talking before the show began about matriarchy and about the divine feminine and the sacred feminine and all that. And I think what we're doing is, through our work becomes a vehicle for us to learn a different way of working, because we've been conditioned in a very patriarchal way of just push, 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 and no pain, no gain. I mean, it's all
that's true.
Yes. And we're rebalancing it. So I think like a wonderful, it's wonderful that you said, but you love what you're doing. And that is like also so true of me. Mm-hmm. I love what I'm doing. And I want to do it in a different way than I did my last business, which was a dance. I don't want to push, push, push like that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's interesting. May I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So do you think that part of the difficulties that not just myself, but that a lot of women face today, especially entrepreneurs, do you think it's part of the growing pains of shifting those paradigms? Do you think this is just part of the discomfort of shaping not just our own destinies, but how we want to go about, even in a practical way, of writing our own narratives, because it is so different from how we've been raised. I never thought of it that way, but do you think that could explain some of the not opposition, but again, some of the emotional friction?
Yes.
That we feel as, basically as female entrepreneurs, or as people who, we're doing things our own way, in a different way.
Yes. And it's interesting. Yes, absolutely. 100%. And it's interesting because, I'm a coach and you're etiquette, and these are such sensitive areas. We're really, especially the way you do etiquette, it's all about kindness and these very feminine characteristics. Mm-hmm. And yet we're trying to do it in a masculine way sometimes.
Yes. And oh my God. Oh, this is awesome. Yes. Yeah.
And I think what it is, because we're sensitive and because the time is opening up like that for us to be aware of this, we're like, ow, this really hurts. Like the way you are, like when you're like, I should push myself, but then there's another part of you that is really going, oh, I just don't want to,
Yes. I know we're running out of time, but I think this is wow, this is karmic. This morning, I got an email from LinkedIn Pulse. Sometimes they do a series of seminars. Yeah. And I read an article, and again, I didn't know this would come up, or I would have remembered who wrote the article, but it was an entrepreneur who was talking about how difficult it is for female CEOs to get seed money or financing or financial backing for their ideas. And there was a conference, and some of the leading female entrepreneurs in the country were there, including Jessica Alba, who, as you know, started the Honest company, and that's $1 billion company. And they were on the panel, and most of the attendees were financial backers or potential financial backers. All of them were male, and the questions they were asking these amazing women, it was embarrassing. And so after the conference, she wrote an article about how we're still marginalized. They get not even 20% of all the seed money that's dispersed to new startups across the country. I could go on and on, but again, I think that speaks to what you were saying about, how we've been taught to do business as opposed to how we organically want to do business.
Yes. And it goes back to what we spoke about in the beginning about, like, there's two ways. There's domination and there's kindness. And those two systems, they almost don't talk to each other. So you get this very men are from Mars, women are from Venus thing, and they're just like, they have to learn how, that's
right.
the problem where the men are approaching it the way they have been doing, and the women are like, huh?
It feels like fuzzy logic.
Yeah. Wow, this has been incredible.
I just can't believe how everything tied into the same message. This has been amazing. I'm going to need to digest this. This is good.
Awesome. I'm so glad. And it's been such a privilege for me to talk to you. You're an amazing woman, and I want to get your book and read it and share it with the young people in my life, because I do have two very young people in my life. So I want to share.
Oh, Reba, awesome.
Yeah. So why don't you just in 30 seconds say your name again, and maybe your website and the name of your book again, so people know where to find you.
Okay. My name is Tara Woods Turner, and I'm the author of Beyond Good Manners: How to Raise a Sophisticated Child. And it's available on Amazon, Amazon.com. And my author page is also linked to my books page, so you can contact me there, or on Facebook, on Goodreads especially. Again, Beyond Good Manners: How to Raise a Sophisticated Child.
Wonderful. And I hope that everyone in our audience will definitely look that up and share it with the young people in their lives, because now I understand the title. Before, I didn't know what you meant by a sophisticated child.
Yeah.
Now I understand your sense of sophisticated, and I'm right there with you.
Yes,
So,
just a love of learning, just
yes.
a no fear approach to new ideas and experiences.
Beautiful. So I'm going to have to wrap this up. I'm going to thank everyone. Thank you for being our guest today. It was wonderful to have you.
Thank you, Reba.
You're welcome. And thanks to everyone who's watching today's episode of Paint Yourself into the Picture. To see more programs that I offer, please visit my website, which is rebalinker.com, where you'll find out more about my books, courses, and coaching. If you'd like to be a guest on Paint Yourself into the Picture, please visit vcntv.com/paintyourselfintothe-picture, one word, /apply. Remember to like this video and leave your comments below. Join us again next week for another coaching session on Paint Yourself into the Picture.
To watch the rest of this episode, click on the link below the video now if you're on YouTube. And if you're on Facebook, click on the Watch the Full Episode button when the video is done.